where they're expected to address new COVID restrictions. Here it is.
Some stronger steps to protect our residents. Our case counts continue to tick up and hospitalizations are also up slightly. So Dr. Bettigole will announce why we're implementing new mask mandates for businesses and events and a vaccine and mask requirement for city employees. The updated policies we're implementing are critical to slowing the spread of the Delta variant of COVID-19, which is more dangerous and transmissible than earlier forms of the virus. The science is clear. These measures will protect Philadelphians and save lives. We strongly urge everyone who has not yet received the vaccine to get it immediately. Please, just get the vaccine. This could all be avoided if we just did that. And if you're due for a second dose, please be sure to get it. It's the best and safest way we can get through this deadly and unpredictable pandemic. We flattened the curve before, and we must do everything in our power to do it again. So now I'll turn it over to Acting Health Commissioner Dr. Cheryl Bettigole.
Thank you, Mayor, and welcome everybody. Thank you for being here. So I continue to be concerned with the rise in cases and hospitalizations in Philadelphia. We have seen how quickly things can get out of hand with the Delta variant in other states. We're hearing from other cities and states that their hospitals are full. So full that there's a risk that someone with a heart attack or an injury may have to be taken to a hospital hundreds of miles away for care. We're not nearly to that level, but our average new cases per day have doubled 3 times in the last month. We're seeing nearly 200 new cases of COVID every day now. And for the first time since early June, more than 100 people are in the hospital in Philly with COVID. This is not the summer any of us imagined. We had hoped that our high vaccine rate, more than 77% of adults had at least 1 shot, and 63% of Philadelphia adults are now fully vaccinated. And our recommendation for folks to wear masks would slow this virus down. Unfortunately, that hasn't happened. As the mayor mentioned, today we're instituting a few new policies. I need to stress that these are just a next step. We will be watching the numbers closely. We may need to adjust safety measures if they continue to rise. First, we're instituting a mask mandate in Philadelphia starting tonight at midnight. That means that everyone in Philadelphia must wear a mask when going into any business or institution, with an exception for those that require vaccinations. Restaurants and bars will need to require masks for all staff and customers, except when people are seated and actively eating and drinking. If a business or institution is requiring that everyone, including staff, be fully vaccinated before entering, then no one in that place needs to wear a mask. So there is an exception for places with a vaccine mandate. Because of the high risk from COVID to seniors and those more vulnerable to high temperatures, we're requiring masks to be worn in the city's cooling centers. And that policy will start at noon today, while the citywide mandate will begin at midnight. We want people to feel safe going to our cooling centers. Additionally, unseated outdoor gatherings of more than 1,000 people are required to have everyone masked. In accordance with this policy, city buildings will require that everyone in public areas be masked. Again, that mask mandate starts tonight at midnight. The second thing that the mayor referred to is our new employee vaccine and mask requirements. On September 1st, all new employees hired by the city will be required to be fully vaccinated against COVID. Current employees will be required to either be fully vaccinated or to double mask whenever they're in an indoor space with others. By double masked, I mean that they need to wear a disposable paper mask or surgical mask underneath their cloth mask. By wearing both masks like this, research has shown that you'll be protected almost as well as with an N95 mask. So you understand what I'm talking about. I'm going to demonstrate how to safely double mask and why. So here is my paper surgical mask. I put this on, loops over the ears, and I pinch the nose. I've now pulled this under my chin, so I'm masked. But you can see that there's some little gaps here at the sides, right? So what the cloth mask does, I always have to check that it's right side up, is that it goes over the top here. It gives me those extra layers of protection, and your cloth mask should have 2 layers at least. And it makes this fit more tightly. It closes off those openings. So it does seem cumbersome, but luckily there is something else that you can do to protect yourself. You can get vaccinated. It's easy, it's free, it's safe, and it is extremely effective. The latest research shows that you have 1/8 the chance of becoming infected with COVID if you're fully vaccinated, and that's with the Delta variant. 1/8 the chance. And 1/25 the chance of ending up in the hospital from COVID if you are fully vaccinated. And again, that's with Delta. And there are hundreds of places throughout Philly where you can walk right up, you can get your vaccine for free, you don't need ID, and you can start protecting yourself and your loved ones today. Getting vaccinated isn't just a personal decision. It's a decision that affects all of us. According to our contact tracing staff, we know that 2/3 of the people who know where they were exposed to COVID report that it was because of a household member or a visitor to their home. That's right, people are catching COVID at home from someone who brought it into their house, typically a member of the family or a friend who wasn't vaccinated. By getting everyone who is eligible in your house vaccinated, you can help to protect them all, even those too young to be vaccinated. Now, before we close, I want to talk about one more COVID announcement. A lot of the things that we announced today require that you prove that you're vaccinated. We know that a lot of people have lost their vaccine card, or it's been damaged, or are worried about what they'll mean if they need to prove their vaccination status. That's why today we now have an official way to request your immunization record. This process has taken a while because we don't want to give people's private health and vaccine information out to anyone that asks. But we now have the process to request your immunization record for COVID, which will show that you're vaccinated. You only need to call our COVID call center at 215-685-5488, or you can email covid@phila.gov. So again, cova@phila.gov or 215-685-5488. And that's if you've lost your vaccine card or it was damaged. Our staff will walk you through the process of verifying your address and figure out the best and quickest way to get your records to you. Finally, I want to say that things don't look great right now, especially in light of what we're seeing in other states. But I do believe that by getting as many of our friends and our loved ones vaccinated as soon as possible, by wearing masks when needed, we can show the rest of the country how to beat this pandemic wave. It's no secret how we can do it. Visit www.phila.gov/vaccine, find the nearest vaccine clinic, and get vaccinated. Tell your friends and your loved ones about how easy it was to get vaccinated. And if they or you have questions about the vaccine, any questions, there are no dumb questions on this, please call our call center at 215-685-5488. Thank you all for joining us today. Next, we'll have our remarks presented in Spanish, and then we'll open it up to questions.
Okay, you heard from our interim health commissioner, Dr. Bettigole, and she said, you know, the decision to get vaccinated is a decision that affects all of us, and it turns out it is affecting all of us. Despite the fact that 63% of the city is fully vaccinated, we now have some new mask policies that affect businesses and institutions. It affects our cooling centers. It also affects restaurants and bars and outdoor gatherings of more than 1,000 people. If there's not seating provided, you'll also have to wear masks. Of course, this is a story that we will be following on Fox29.com, as well as here on the channel Fox 29 throughout the day and our evening shows. But once again, due to what Mayor Kenney says is an uptick in COVID cases as well as hospitalizations, it's doubled 3 times in the last month. They now are putting in a mask mandate for the city of Philadelphia that will take effect starting tonight at midnight. So this is a story that we will continue to cover. Once again, I'm Alex Hawley in the Good Day studio, and we will go back to regularly scheduled programming.